Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Wednesday Twitter Spaces. We have a very good one for you guys today. Also joining us is our guest, Brian. Um, Definitely well connected in the space. He has a massive community of people that actually are into the things that he talks about. YouTube channel, Telegram channel, Twitter, all of that good stuff. He's very well versed in the crypto space, so we're lucky to have him on today. Before we get into some conversations with Brian, I do want to make a couple of announcements that are very special to the ShibaDoge community. So we're probably most likely going to have staking live by this week. It could happen literally today. It could happen by Sunday. I don't know exactly, but it's coming. Warzone is coming this week, or not per se this week, but within the next few days, right? So it could happen at any given moment. So you guys should be excited for that. I know gas is pretty high right now because of the way the network fees are. So there's that. But regardless, it's coming. Now, last week when I was up here, I talked to you guys about some pretty massive plays that we've been working on to bring a lot of exposure to what we got going on here. And I'm happy to say that we've made a lot of progress on what we've been working on. Alex and Peter are actually in the process right now of writing up an entire Medium article that we're going to be able to present the plan and kind of give everyone a guide on how to participate as the community, because obviously we are going to need the community's help in order to push this to what we wanted to achieve. But the plan is pretty simple. I'm not gonna spill the beans right now. I apologize for not going into full detail, but I want the Medium article to be out. I want you guys to be able to read it, digest it first before I kind of like lay it out in vocal terms. But to kind of like cut things short, obviously, I mean, any way you look at it, the meme market is back, baby. The meme market is back, and it's back in full force. Like any type of volume that's happening in crypto, let's be real, it's all happening in the meme space right now. So we're here to take full advantage of that. We're going to take full advantage of that. We're not going to let the opportunity pass. We're going to do something massive, and we're going to have everybody on board, every influencer, anyone and everyone that you can think of, and that is somebody in the space is going to be a part of what we got going on moving forward. So we're cooking. People think since we've been quiet the past like few days that we're hibernating or something. No, it's the complete opposite. We've been whiteboarding, we've been talking, we've been putting game plan together, and something massive is going to happen, guys. And I am extremely excited. You guys know when we drop Medium articles, then something big is happening, right? We don't really do much of those. The last one that we did was exactly 1 year ago. I think 1 year and 1 week ago. So be prepared. We have something massive coming. And with that being said, I am more bullish than I have ever been, even in the past 16 months. This is the most bullish I've ever been, only because knowing that the possibilities of growth are exponential right now. Brian, if you want to hop in real quick, introduce yourself and kind of maybe even give your take on what you think is going on with the meme market right now, and like give a little bit of insight from your perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Appreciate it. Good intro. Exciting to hear some big developments coming from you guys. And obviously it's nice to see a project stay true to their word and continue to grind and deliver a bunch of good stuff. So hats off to you guys and the rest of the community for that. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Brian Shiitake. It's not shit take. It's Brian Shiitake, like the mushroom. And so a little bit about me. I run a Telegram channel, Coin Launch Lounge. We do AMAs. We've done just about 450 AMAs in the last 2 years, and so I've kind of built my entire brand off of value first and making sure that the community is protected and new people coming into DeFi are in a position where they can identify projects that are good versus projects that are bad and keep themselves safe. I ventured out recently into YouTube, so got myself a YouTube channel, not really necessarily just crypto related, but AI related, and just me. It's just my regular YouTube channel and me putting my thoughts out there. And so as far as the meme space, I've always been bullish on meme coins. I just, when it comes to like garbage, I don't support like garbage, but when it comes to a well put together meme, there's genuinely nothing like it in crypto. I mean, nothing can create more volume, not a utility token, not something that's based off of some grandiose idea. Generally speaking, the most successful projects ever in the DeFi space start with a meme, and so seeing it all come full circle and the market picking up the way that it is, and it all being heavily relative to meme season being back, it's a beautiful sight, and it's a breath of fresh air in the crypto space. I mean, we've gone through a couple dark months, and so to see all that kind of come winding down and the volume come back, gas fees might be going up, gas fees might be higher, but that means people are using Uniswap and OpenSea, right? So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see. It's a breath of fresh air in the market, in my opinion, and I mean, a well put together meme coin, there's nothing like it in the space.
Definitely, man. I 100% agree with you. And you said something, and then it's actually pretty funny because you said YouTube and you said AI all in the same sentence. And the reason why I found that funny is because yesterday I dropped off my car to the dealership to get serviced. So I called the Uber to come pick me up. And the guy who picked me up, he's like, we're talking, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm doing my thing. I'm Uber and I'm grinding. I'm trying to make my money and this and that. I'm like, so what do? You just do like Uber is your main thing? He's like, no, I have a bunch of side hustles. He's like, I just started a YouTube channel and I'm making all my videos with AI and I'm doing voiceovers and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm like, oh, dang, bro. So, I mean, I love that you're venturing into the AI type of content on your YouTube channel. I haven't personally seen your videos yet, but after this, I am going to hop in and definitely I'm going to subscribe and check out some of your stuff. But AI does have a massive opportunity to take over a lot of industries, man. And whether it's for the better or worse, it's coming. It's inevitable, and I think. I'm very much so interested in it. I mess around with it almost every day. I don't mess around with ChatGPT anymore as much. Like now I'm just trying and testing out new products and new things that people are building just to kind of see like what the possibilities are with AI. And for us, like what we see the value in AI for like our industry, for the crypto industry is we have an NFT project, right? And we have, over 20,000 unique NFTs, whether they're in the Doge Army, Shiba Army, or the bread version, the ShibaDoge NFTs. We think it's a cool idea to be able to give all of these NFTs a personality, right? And with AI, that's going to be possible. We're going to one day be able to kind of like bring those NFTs to life and assign a personality, a voice to each NFT, man. And I think that's really going to change the game as to how people kind of like interact with their NFTs. Like imagine you own an NFT, but it's also at the same time like your personal assistant or something, right? You can ask it something and then it'll help you out, or you can have it plan your day out, or you can have it help you with your work or your homework or whatever. So I think it's amazing, man. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you, considering AI has been out for like a year and how powerful it is. I'm kind of like visualizing how it's going to be in 5 years. And I mean, what's your take? What do you think? Where do you think we'll be at in 5 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't think GPT-4 would come out until December, and it came out in March. And so, I mean, for me, I'm a guy that bases everything off of data and analytics. And so when you look at OpenAI's most recent research report, they said that, 20% of all U.S. jobs will have up to 50% of their daily tasks impacted in the United States economy. That's 20% of all laborers in the United States will have up to 50% of their tasks impacted by GPT-4 technology. So, I mean, I think that moving forward into the future, people are going to have to adopt this stuff, or unfortunately, they'll just be at a disadvantage to the people that do adopt it. But I think it will allow humans to, enter a creative outlet and focus more on creative things. I think about myself at 16 years old, pushing paper into a machine, working in a paper factory, right? Because I had to pay my bills at a young age. And I think if I could have just been an engineer or an architect, anything at that point that would require some type of creative input, and if I could have been enabled to do that, I wonder, how much different the landscape of my life would be. And I look at that as a positive for the up and coming generation. Do I think AI is going to take over the world in 5 years? I don't. But do I think it's going to impact every single person that lives in a first world society? I do. I do think it will. It's really interesting. It's an interesting topic of conversation, and bringing it back into crypto, like you said, giving NFTs a personality, and even really just democratizing the ability for people to come up with information and work in this space. There's a lot of underprivileged countries where people don't have the same access to education, and AI really can democratize education. If people can't afford how to read, or how to, if people can't afford to purchase Think and Grow Rich, they can go to AI right now and say, summarize chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich, summarize chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich, and then summarize the whole book. And what are the most important points? And then before you know it, you're learning in a democratized way. And so I think that's where it really has a major impact on crypto, because it's going to allow people from all around the world to participate in the economy that crypto has created, which inevitably will only increase the size of the crypto economy globally. So it's exciting.
100%, man. I totally agree with that. And the way that I look at it is like, okay, so things happen in phases, right? And I think AI and crypto are kind of like fall pretty close to the same category in a way, even though they're completely different things, right? So when crypto was new, obviously, people started hearing about Bitcoin, blah, 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 this, that. Everybody was against it, and then they became for it, and then it became a whole wave where it's like, if you don't have it, people are like, oh my God, you don't own crypto, you don't own any coins, you don't own any Bitcoin, you don't own any ShibaDoge, whatever. So now with AI, the opposite of what we saw was like, so it's kind of like the cell phone, right? The cell phone came out and not too many people had it at first. And then boom, blink of an eye, a few months past, everybody in the world has a cell phone. Like everybody. If you don't have a cell phone, people laugh at you. They're like, what the hell? You don't have a cell phone? So now it's like everybody is adopting AI. And it's funny because I'll turn on my TV and I'll go to the YouTube app. And one of the first videos that always pop up in my recommended feed is like, I made $500,000 this week using AI to build an Etsy store and sold 6 million stickers in the first week, right? Like, obviously that's clickbait, and obviously like you could do it, you could make stuff using AI. Is it quality stuff? Sure. I mean, I guess so. But me personally, I guess like I can look at something and know automatically if it was built by GPT or if it wasn't. So I think, the distinctive factor of being able to kind of like figure out whether or not AI had been used in that system, it's easy for someone who understands it. And I'm seeing that with some of these new coins, like, over the past like 2 weeks, I've been looking at all of the things that have been launching and kind of like trending, and I look into them because we're learning from it, right? So obviously we have something big coming. So I'm looking at, how the market is. It's an adaptive market. We're learning from it, right? Obviously every single day something new happens that kind of revolutionizes the way that the niche works. And it's very important to understand that crypto has its own niches and its own trends as well too, right? So people follow those, right? People follow those and they look for the next one. So I recognize that, and I very quickly started looking through dozens and dozens of different projects that are popping up, whether they were in the hundreds of millions or whether they were in the tens of thousands. It didn't matter. I just wanted to do a collective amount of research on everything. And I got to tell you, man, like almost not all of them. I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of them, you could tell were just probably put together in 5 minutes using GPT, as far as like the about me, as far as like the tokenomics, or like just, some of the content that's put on the website. You could tell like there's no effort into it. And a lot of it is like just put together by some guy probably in like less than an hour. But the most interesting thing is people are actually interested in this shit, right? People are actually like, okay, whatever. I like it. I'm buying it. And that is what sparks the light bulb, where it's like, okay, all you got to do is serve people the plate and they will eat, right? But if the plate is there and you're not inviting anybody over for company, you're not inviting anybody over for dinner, no one's going to eat off that plate. So I don't know if that makes much sense, but the analogy that I'm trying to get is like, as long as you're serving something to an audience, they will digest it. But if you just keep building and keep building and keep building, but keep all of that stuff kind of like enclosed in four walls, no one's gonna be able to benefit from it, right? And right now, I think is a amazing time for entrepreneurs to actually like kind of make that step into crypto. Like obviously, I don't know if you know, but we preach unity, right? So it's like, when people come up here, normally we don't talk about other projects or this or that, but I'm talking about like the whole, meme space as a whole right now. It's booming to a point where it's like I could launch something that's like means absolutely nothing, right? But as long as I put it in front of people's eyes, they're going to buy it. Now imagine it's kind of like we have a well-versed team who is 20 strong, and if we work on something massive and kind of like introduce that to an audience, now it's kind of like, hey, what can we achieve then, right? So I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Couple of really good points, man. Couple of really good points. One thing was you made the cell phone reference, and I think it's so valuable to make the cell phone reference when it comes to AI. And another aspect of that is when you look at where it is currently, it's like the Nokia, right? When nobody really felt the urgency to go get the cell phone, but after the Nokia, eventually came the iPhone 1, and then people started to feel that urgency, and then eventually it became very, very quickly from the iPhone 1, it became everyone has a cell phone in their pocket, and it's a smartphone, and it's touchscreen and all this, and AI is at the same pinnacle. What we have now with GPT technology, it seems so mind-blowing, but when we look back at it in the future, we're going to look at it and say, oh my God, I can't believe that was such a breakthrough in society for people to get access to GPT-3. Like, it's going to be so rudimentary compared to what will be around. You also made a couple other really good points in there, and one thing I think is right now there's a lot of shiny object syndrome still in the meme coin space with, people can just pump out a meme coin project with no experience and just use AI and like get walked through the entire thing. But I think that's going to reduce the shiny new object syndrome for the average everyday investor, and it's going to inevitably support projects like ShibaDoge in the regards that you guys are actually a legit meme coin, right? Where there's tons of meme coins out here that aren't legit, but you guys are a legit meme coin. And the barrier to entry to create a meme coin used to be so much higher, where you had to know somebody who would walk you through it. There was barely even YouTube videos on this stuff. And now you can just go to GPT and say, how do I deploy a contract? And it could write you, contract. You want a function, you can add the function to the contract with no experience. And so it makes it so accessible that it's almost too accessible, to the point where all those people that are looking for brand new projects to go and ape their money into for quick X's, instead those people will get burned so many times, they'll start to focus on, all right, where are the legit meme projects at where I can park some money and still, take a risk on something a little bit more speculative, because they love doing that, but they're going to focus on projects that are more legit, like what you guys have built up. And one thing I've noticed in this space recently is with the AI boom is a lot of kind of just bogus AI utilities, like people promising things that are just super unrealistic. And people are going to get educated in AI super fast. It's already happening, and so people will be able to sniff this stuff out. And I think it will be difficult to create this allure that has been able to be created over the last 2.5, 3 years of all this stuff going down. And circling back, inevitably it's going to support projects like you guys that have put in the hard work over, you didn't just GPT your About Us section. You guys actually wrote your About Us section. But one habit I'm in, for every AMA we do in the Coin Launch Lounge, I take the white paper off screen and drop it in, I pay for an AI content detector. Every single AMA now, I drop it in the AI content detector. Do I discriminate against somebody that just whipped up their white paper with AI? Not necessarily. I get it, you're being resourceful, but there's a difference between being resourceful and being lazy, right? And so I definitely discredit projects that just take the easy route, the path of least resistance, when they could put the hard work in for their communities, as you guys have shown, kind of like the blueprint on how to lay the groundwork, how to promise something to the community, and how to deliver on it. It's really impressive. So yeah, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, man. So the way that I look at it is like, if it's making money for people, then yeah, I'm all for it, because I definitely want everyone to win at whatever cost, right? But what people don't understand is they'll look at something and be like, oh my God, I missed out on this. And then they'll get in knowing that it's probably a bad idea to get in after you kind of missed a boat, right? If you're looking at some of those projects that really, really skyrocketed like crazy. But what people don't understand is for each one person that wins, there's probably 10 to 100 people that lost in the process of that, right? So I don't necessarily like to preach that, but sometimes it's true. And what's going to stand out in this market right now is right now everybody's like kind of like chasing new stuff, right? But what's going to stand out is something that's very unique and something that people could get attached to in a way where they look at it and they're like, okay, this isn't like everything else that I've been looking at over the past like month. This is something new. This is something unique. This is something that is actually built by people who care and built by people who pour their heart into it. And I think that's what we're going to try to go for with this next move that we do. Obviously, we have like a whole Medium article coming out on what we're planning and how we plan on expanding. And I honestly think that we could grow the community by tens of thousands of people with this next move that we're coming up with. But more importantly, what I'm getting out of all of this is the past 6 months. People love to talk about how dead crypto was. People love to talk about, hey, no one's interested, nothing can save it, blah blah blah. Everyone had their fun. Now it's time to close up shop. It blows all of that garbage out of the water, because this just comes to show you that all it is phases. Everything comes and goes in phases, right? And Pepe being the trend that kind of like reawoke the meme market, whether it was Pepe, whether it was ShibaDoge, whether it was anybody, it doesn't matter who it was. The important thing is that it happened. And the important thing is that there's life coming back into the space, and people have made, some good gains. Some people have lost. But the more important thing is that people are now on the hunt, looking for a community that they could join. Something that we had that a lot of other projects don't have is, obviously, we do these vocal AMAs, we do these weekly things where we come up and talk, and people can hear us and get an attachment, and they're not just sidelined, just listening to the next pinned message on Telegram. Before I started doing the Twitter Spaces, I would do 2 AMAs a week on Telegram in our main group channel. So as an experiment, I said, hey, look, I'm gonna stop doing those Telegram AMAs. I'm start doing Twitter Spaces instead, just exclusively. And I think this is our 3rd or 4th one. I think it's our 4th one. And what I had initially said is like, I'm going to do 4 just to kind of like experiment and see what it is. And I've been watching from the sidelines, like how the community reacts, like what's going to happen, what kind of DMs I'm getting. I could tell you, man, a lot of people want those VCs back, the Telegram VCs. So I wasn't real quick to jump the gun, because I wanted to kind of like see what's going to happen, right? It was honestly, a lot of it was market research. Like people think, Leo's not going to talk on VC no more, this and that. But you could tell that the community, the backbone of a community, is built off of people being able to communicate with each other. And honestly, texting stuff back and forth is cool too, but being able to like go on there and voice your opinions and voice your thoughts and voice your questions, and actually have like somebody who's on the core team or even just a core community member be able to talk back to you, that gives you a different type of experience rather than just jumping into a meme coin and kind of like just /LFG and just spamming that in the chat. Which honestly, like, I love that too. I love that aspect of the meme space where it's like people go in and they go crazy and they're just spamming stuff left and right. Those are fun, right? It's fun to have things like that. But then again, it's also like structure is very important, and it's also very important to understand that, this community of people, they're not just names on Telegram. Behind those names are actual people who believe in what you're doing and who actually trust you to a certain extent. And that was one of the hardest things for us to overcome the first month that we launched. A lot of people were like, oh, these guys aren't dogs. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. You guys are not safe. They would FUD and this and that. We took it very seriously for, the past year and a half that we've been live, to make sure that people understand that we're not those type of people. We're an actual solid team that wants to make a solid foundation and leave our name in the history books of crypto for like, hey, Leo did this, Alex did that, Peter, Max, and we want to be able to make sure that we could create something that outlives us as men. That's what men want to do, right? They want to create something that can outlive them. Like we only have a certain amount of years in our life. Once we go, you need to have something that's going to be able to kind of like push your legacy on. And I think that's what we found in our space with our community, and with the projects that we've launched. Obviously we have the Burn project now. We have ShibaDoge, which was our first, and we have the NFTs. Honestly, like, our ecosystem is going to keep growing. We're going to keep building cool shit. We're going to keep bringing new stuff to the table, and the most important thing that I think is like we're adaptive, right? So when we see something working, we want to jump on that too, and we want to do it better than everybody else. And I think the ShibaDoge team is going to do some pretty big things this year, man.
It's exciting to hear, man. It's really exciting to hear. And, it's fair for people to speculate, non-docs team and all this backup. What is it, a year ago, maybe even longer ago? It's fair for people to speculate. But you guys have proved your claim here. I mean, you guys have proved that you're, willing to hang out and stand around, which is really impressive. To your point about the Telegram VCs and the Twitter Spaces, I think they both have their own places. For me, I have never gotten into like Twitter Spaces and hosting them as much because I've invested so much in such a professional like setup, and I have high production value, and I really like pride myself in my production value, and Twitter doesn't allow me to use it because I have to come on here on my cell phone, and I suppose it just kind of bothers me. Like I like being able to have a nice mic and a soundboard, and if I want to turn my camera on, it's not my front forward facing camera on my cell phone, but my A6000 plugged into OBS. I like having all that. Like it's nice for me. I like being able to have little scenes when I switch. Yeah, so I think the production value is important, and as long as you can bring that on Telegram, then the community is. Yeah, the community is a lot better on Telegram, in my opinion. There's a lot more opportunity for growth and reach here on Twitter with these spaces and with hosting these spaces. But yeah, I see the Telegram community as still a core piece that definitely can't be let go. People love spamming in the chat /LFG.
Well,
it's just a part of the DGen space.
I was gonna say, me and Leo found a solution for that. Right, Leo?
Yep, we actually found a solution to be able to bypass the mobile application where you can actually go on your computer and use Twitter Spaces. But obviously, it'll be much better if just Twitter Spaces and Twitter can support PC, because production value is very important. And I do remember when I came on your show, I was kind of blown away by the just like your intro and like everything else that you had going on. I was like, holy crap, like nobody else really does this. And that stuck out to me. I even remember it up to today. I was like, you had your whole intro, you had your whole introduction, monologue, and everything was so professional. And yeah, I could see why a content creator and somebody who does this for a living really would take the production value very seriously. And I know for sure Twitter understands that as well. I think Elon actually even made a statement saying that he's going to work on supporting Twitter Spaces for mobile and kind of like supporting for a desktop and supporting all of these other functions and things as well. Because it's a huge platform, and I think we got a whole bunch of things that need to be fixed with Twitter. I'll be the first to say it, but do I think Twitter is like the space that everybody who's involved in the crypto market should be involved in? Yes. Why do I think that? Is because honestly, people don't say like, hey, let's go shill our project on Tumblr or on Facebook and stuff. It's like everyone says, look, go tweet this, go tweet that. So, you're not going to have a better place than Twitter unless something comes out that's brand new and everyone, flocks to that. I just think Twitter needs to step their game up, man.
Yeah, and it's gotten tremendously better since Elon purchased it. The activity, at least. I mean, there's just so many more real active accounts. It's so nice to see a breath of fresh air breathed into Twitter, but it is like the community square for all things crypto and beyond. But it's nice to see Twitter turning into more of like a news outlet where there's actual real-time news that's coming out through spaces like what Mario's doing and all this. That's really nice. Another big thing that I wish they would add is being able to share screen, because I'm sure up here, if you have a big announcement, you probably want to be able to share some type of, even if it's a virtual cam, and because you have some type of pitch deck or something that you want to go through. It would be nice if they could add that. a lot of the time when I do AMAs, the community's getting my genuine first impression on a project. Like when you guys come in, it's different because we've been friends. I've known about the project for a long time. And so it's not my first impression, but 9 times out of 10 it is. So I like scrolling on the website. There's been times where I've scrolled on the website and I see deep fakes or something on the website, and I've just got an eye for that type of thing. And I pull it and drop it in Canva and prove to the whole community it's a deep fake and kick the guy out of the group, you know? And like that same type of thing can't happen here on Twitter because I can't share the screen like that in the same way. So yeah, I do enjoy the Twitter Spaces, and every time I come on here, I enjoy it more and more. So it's nice to see you guys doing this. And when you guys are in Telegram, make sure that you let me know, and I'll pop over in the Telegram VCs too and drop in and say hi for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm definitely gonna have to schedule like another show with you on your show, because you know when our plan does drop, this next phase of what I'm saying, once we drop it in the coming weeks, I'm gonna be everywhere. I'm gonna be talking to a lot of people, presenting it to a bunch of communities. So I'll definitely schedule another visit on your show. But I have a question, man. So it's like, you know, you interview all these people. You've done 450 AMAs over the past 2 years, you said, or year. For you, other than being a person of key like interest that people come to in the crypto space, you as an investor, like when you interview these people that come onto your show and kind of like talk about their project and present their project to their community, what really stands out to you the most, where it's kind of like in the back of your head, you don't really say it, but you're very interested to a point where you're like, all right, you know what, after this AMA, I'm gonna go and buy this project. Like, what really stands out to you? What draws you in the most after listening to somebody?
It's such a good question. You know, I invest in people more than I invest in projects, and I think that's how a lot of people in this space should be, because I've seen the worst projects like possible do the craziest numbers, and you know, great projects with a terrible team do no numbers. And so I learned a long time ago that people are far more important than what's there for the project. But as far as if I'm investing in something, one of the number one things I look for is an outside injection of capital from any source. It doesn't matter if it's NFTs or they're selling something successfully on the internet, or they have an in real life business that's generating revenue and putting money back into the chart. But it's, you know, you made a comment earlier essentially about how when some people win in this space, some people lose in this space, and that's naturally how it is, you know, a zero-sum game. But I love to see outside liquidity injections, because that removes the zero-sum factor and makes it where more people can win. And so I think when people see that, it creates a super bullish sentiment. And from what I've noticed of other investors, because I'm just like anybody, right? I don't want to buy something if it doesn't feel like other people are interested in it. I get FOMO just like anybody else. And right. I mean, a lot of the time I'll buy a project because it's got a good team behind it and it seems like there's a ton of hype, and that's what people want. But yeah, I love to see outside injection of capital into a project, whether it be utility, some type of SaaS product, anything. Come up with anything. Anything onto the God's green earth. You come up with it. Sure. If it can generate revenue and come back in the chart and make the chart go up more without new people coming in, I think it adds a whole new factor to a project, and it's something I really look forward to.
Great answer, man. I mean, I definitely see how you could come to that conclusion, considering you talk to so many people, and I'm sure a lot of people pitch you some like really hot garbage like on a pretty regular basis, just because it's like, it's obvious, right? It's a given. If you talk to 1,000 people in the year, you know, out of those 1,000 people, probably 900 of them are just pitching you something that they just like made up or whatever. Out of all the people that you've talked to and out of all of the interviews that you've done, what's like the most unusual use case that someone's ever pitched for a cryptocurrency that you know, on your show, or whether on your show or just to you in general? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Oh man, that's a crazy question. I've had some insane stuff. As far as like just downright out there, kind of moronic idea, I had one guy that came in and pitched the project. I don't want to even say the project's name, but the project had nothing to do with his pitch, and it seemed like he had literally crafted this pitch like 30 minutes before he came in. Like they switched the whole direction of the project, and he was talking about how they were going to deliver an operating system that was going to contest iOS and Android, and he essentially forked some like, you know, open source like Linux-based kernel for phones, and he was like, it was like you had to have an iPhone 8 or older to boot this onto your iPhone. It was just the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. That was a pretty bad one. That guy got told to get lost. A lot of scams that came through and got caught in action in real time that paid. We have a policy in the Coin Launch Lounge that if you come in for an AMA and I smell the scam out during the AMA, your entire we don't do giveaways really, but your entire payment for the AMA gets distributed to the listeners of the project that go and shill everywhere that your project's a scam and just got exposed in the Coin Launch Lounge. And so we disperse all that money from the project's payment out. So essentially it says right in our documents, if you come in and you're a scammer and you get had in the AMA, you're essentially funding your own demise. And so right in our payment docs, it says that. And so we've probably had I don't know, 12 or 15 projects that got like kicked off the AMA for being a scam in real time. And so those are always a joy. There's been a couple fake billboards. Oh God, the list goes on, man. I've seen a lot.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that policy, man. I mean, it's definitely like, people don't want to see it, but I'm sure some of the listeners, they kind of like wait for it, right? They're like, okay, I could see, I could smell this scam. Like they're just kind of like spamming the button where it's like, all right, let's distribute the cash.
Exactly. Well, you're right, and it incentivizes them to kind of speak up a little bit more, like if something seems fishy. And one thing I learned about crypto a long time ago is people in crypto, they love drama. They love good drama, man. When something starts to go down, they're all over it, like white on rice. Sure.
We had a situation where we had a mod when we first launched. We had like community admins and things of that nature. So those people became OGs over time, and then some of those OGs, they always venture out, do their own thing, and try to like rebel against like the old stuff or whatever. So like we had a group of people who kind of like separated from what we had going on, and they started their own thing, and they tried to like start all this drama and do all this. And I got to tell you, man, like I was annoyed about it at first, and then after a while, it just like kind of like didn't mean anything. But my biggest takeaway from that was, everybody was just always talking about it, right? And there was like never a dull moment. It was kind of like back and forth, and it was drama and this and that. And I think the most viewed AMA that I ever had, that I've ever done in the history of the 2 years that I'm doing these AMAs, the most viewed and the most interacted with AMA was the one where I addressed all of that FUD and all of that drama. So I remember coming on the next time, I was like, holy shit, like we need more drama. We need more of this, right? Because it brings a lot of attention.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. It really does bring a lot of attention. People love the drama. I think some of our biggest growth moments ever were based around, drama. All good usually. I guess maybe a couple bad pieces, where people get zesty in this space too. People get, in their feelings easily in this space. It's crazy, man. Really, it's insane. Yeah, it's a wild ride in crypto.
What really inspired you to actually do what you do and can start your own channel and create a community? What inspired that?
Holy smokes. I got involved in crypto. I saw the opportunity instantly. I said to my wife, I was like, honey, I'm going to go full time in crypto. Like, this is insane. DeFi is nuts. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. I made an incredulous amount of money very quickly and then got scammed for all of it. Got just hammered, and I just remember the gut-wrenching feeling of getting ripped. All the money that I had just worked my ass off for, and like not sleeping for weeks, and it was all gone. And I got socially engineered, and some guy befriended me for a month, and then just ripped me. And so I just sat down and I decided, like, oh my God, how do I stop that from happening? And it seemed like nobody cared that this was happening in the space at all, to all these different people, and regulators weren't stepping in. And I figured, you know what, never mind regulation. What if we self-regulate? And I kind of build this community up and lead it of, education first and value first, and teach people the ways of navigating this space without having to go through what I just went through. And so that's the exact foundation that we were built on. And so, I don't know if you know Rude from Rude's Crypto Lounge, but
Yeah.
I was
I
in one of Rude's AMAs. Rude was one of the first AMAs I had ever heard, and I heard him tear a project apart. And I was thinking to myself, man, I was going to invest in that project. And the reason I came in here was because I was going to invest in that project. And he just dropped some straight wisdom. And, you know, I would have never have seen these red flags if it wasn't for this guy. And so I DM'd him and I was like, hey, man, listen, I just heard how you did that, and I'm going to start my own group. Will you send me like some AMAs for free, whatever, and I'll do them for free. I just want to learn this craft. And he respected the fact I came to him and was like, you know, almost like an OG in the space, and asked him for a pass. And Rude just straight up put me on in the group. He just started sending me all sorts of, and I started charging people, and then the rest was history. But yeah, it all started out of spite because I got scammed for a ton of money.
Yeah, man. So see, like that's the beauty of like this crypto community is, you know, a lot of people look at it from one perspective and they're like, hey, the only way to make money is to, you know, invest into a project and hope that the project goes up and hope that, you know, you're able to, you know, ride it to whatever amount that you have in your head that you want to sell at, and you hit that goal and you get out, and that's the only way to make money. Sure, that's one of the ways to do it, and that's probably one of the best ways. But there is so many opportunities, like the opportunity that you just explained. Like, you know, you found a problem that was out there and you created a solution and you were able to monetize it. Now, you know, 2 years later, you have a successful channel and you have a successful business that you've built out of kind of like just a salty experience that you had with somebody scamming you, right? And the funny thing is, like, anytime that I talk to people and I like ask them what their first like experience in crypto was, it's a very similar story, right? It starts as like a perfect like story where it's like, yeah, everything was good, I was making money, and then boom, I got hacked, or boom, I got scammed, or boom, I got rug pulled. And that's like almost everyone's story. It's funny because that's just it seems like it's standard in the crypto space. It's even happened to me, man. Like, that's even happened to me. I don't know if you remember BitConnect. It was like
BitConnect. Yeah, everyone remembers it.
everyone remembers it, dude. Yeah, I got screwed on that, and you know, like that was one of my first like ventures into the crypto space, and you know, it was good. I was so happy. I was telling people about it. I was like shilling it left and right, and then boom, it just out of nowhere, poof, gone. And kind of like, you know, very similar to your story, very similar to, you know, hundreds of thousands of other people, I'm sure. But yeah, man, it's funny, like, there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think being a part of a community, whether you're leading the community or whether you're just in the community, opens a lot of doors for people to be able to find those new opportunities and new ways for them to grow and become not necessarily professionals in the space, but make something out of it, or take something away that they could find value in for the future. Because like I said, like, blockchain is still, as new as it is and as old as it is at the same time, it's still something that 99.9% of the world doesn't understand. And obviously, yeah, it's not what people make it out to be. It's not the saving grace. It's not what's going to save the world. But it is going to be something that's going to be very important in the infrastructure of how the world operates in the future. And whether you're learning about blockchain by just investing in meme coins, or learning about it by, reverse engineering a smart contract, or building a smart contract, or whatever your taste is, the important thing is you're like interacting with it and learning about it right now, because when this type of stuff becomes valuable and the world needs people to kind of like work on these products, like, we're the pioneers. We're the people who kind of know what's up. Like, we know what a transaction hash is. If you go and ask 20 random people on the street, they're not going to know what it is. You get what I'm saying? It's just something as simple as that. So yeah, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. If I have any advice to anyone listening to this, if all you've ever done to make money in crypto is buy and sell tokens, my advice to you is to treat the crypto space like Xbox Live, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2 days of being on Xbox Live lobbies and networking with people. And that's at least how it was with me. I was selling modded lobbies and JTAG and Xboxes. And so, like, that's where all my experience in this came from. Like, I owe all of my ability to network with people in this space is all because of what I did in Modern Warfare 2, original Modern Warfare 2, and selling modded lobbies and stuff. And I just learned how to network with people. And it's literally the same dynamic in this space. You hear somebody in a voice chat that sounds pretty bullish, send them a DM and say, bro, you sound bullish. Like, how do we how do we work together, and how do we make money together. Crypto has opened up. I've taught this to so many people from the Philippines and so many different countries, but crypto has opened up an opportunity for arbitrage like no other industry ever. I was just explaining this to somebody yesterday about how I call it the crypto effect, and you can literally go find a service off Fiverr that's $15 and sell it to crypto projects for $150. Like, I could probably come up with 5 services by the end of the day that you could arbitrage from Fiverr to crypto, because people pay a crypto premium for everything. I mean, even like you look at advertising, CPMs in the real world are like $10 to $25. CPMs in crypto are $100 to $250. Crypto projects are used to paying this premium. So it opens up this arbitrage opportunity for people to capitalize on. So if you've never tried to sell something in crypto, you've never tried to, make a commission off of brokering a deal or something like that, you ought to give it a shot. You might be better at networking than you believe. And that's the thing about crypto is no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life you're from, I firmly believe with all my heart, even if you have nothing in your crypto wallet, you can earn up to $10,000 in your first 30 days in crypto if you sit down and you grind and you think outside the box. And that's why I fell in love with the space. I mean, the space is amazing. There's genuinely nothing like it. And yeah, I just believe that if you don't already think outside the box, give yourself a little bit of time to think outside the box and see if you can earn some money in some other avenues in crypto.
100%, man. I definitely agree with the whole thinking outside of the box avenue. And I think that's what we've been doing over the past 2 weeks as well. We really stepped outside of our comfort zone. The team, when I'm speaking, when I say we, I'm talking about our core team. We analyzed what's been going on in the market. We stepped out of our market, our comfort zone, and we're like, hey, okay, we have to make some massive moves, because right now there's a lot of action happening, and we don't want to miss the opportunity. So we could have done something traditional. We could have done something that a lot of other people do, and something proven that works. But we started thinking outside of the box. One of our partners, Alex, he came up with an amazing plan. So we actually started working off of that foundation of the plan. We started building it up. We're still building it up, but I think it's something that a community that wants to win, and the community that likes to support what is going on, not just in the crypto space, but also in the ShibaDoge universe, they're all going to support. So yeah, man, I think, thinking outside of the box is key, whether you're, doing what you did with networking with people, selling, modded lobbies and stuff, which is amazing, because I was actually one of the guys who was buying modded lobbies. I wasn't the one selling them, but I was the one buying them. But yeah, definitely, man. I know people like you. You guys are hustlers, man. You guys always you're a go-getter, right? You see an opportunity, you jump on it, you want to be a part of it. And that's how everybody should be. You always got to be hungry. There's no amount of money that you could sit down and look at and be like, all right, this is enough. You should always be a go-getter. You should always want more, to achieve more. Obviously, don't do desperate stuff, and obviously try to make reasonable and rational decisions with the things that you're getting into. But you're right. Everybody here has a heavy hand, right? In the crypto space, they want to spend. If they can find value in what you're pitching them, and if they can find value in what you're bringing to the table, they will pay you for it, right? Whether it's me as the owner of a project, or a leader of a community approaching someone trying to sell them something, or whether it's just you that's part of a community that's learned something from being a part of this community, reaching out to another community and being like, hey, I learned this, and that, and my information is valuable, but it's not free. You could definitely monetize yourself that way. So, there's definitely a bunch of opportunities, man.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And again, it's nice to see you guys coming full circle, and I'm really excited to see what you guys have in the books. I don't even know what this is, so I'm excited to see what's cooking and what's going to come to fruition. And I'll say that. Yeah, that anybody that doesn't really know how to take that leap, because you're right. I've always been kind of this go-getter mindset. My mother made me read Think and Grow Rich when I was a kid, so young. And so it's kind of been ingrained in my mindset. So if that's not your same circumstance, I've helped a lot of people, enter that circumstance for the first time in their lives. And if anybody's curious, you can go and look up our Medium for the Coin Launch Lounge. You can just type in Medium Coin Launch Lounge. And there's a few articles from probably about 7 months ago that I wrote. One of them is how to get your first sale without selling a thing in crypto. And I'll summarize it. The biggest thing is just don't go around offering proposals to people. If you come from contribution in this world and you put value first and you try to provide value to people on the front end, people will be curious in what you have to sell on the back end. And that is just like something to live by, not even so much just in crypto, but in everything, but in crypto more importantly, because people are inundated with nonsense. But if you go and one strategy I teach the salespeople in our group is go look at a crypto project's website, look for grammatical or clerical errors, and then go into the chat, and instead of saying, hey, DM dev, I have a proposal, say, I found a mistake on your website that needs to be fixed instantly. And you get the dev in the DMs, and now you've provided value on the front end, and now you're able to give them an offer on the back end, and it works like a dream, man. It works like a dream. And so all sorts of little different things, but my advice to people is, as you navigate through crypto, just try to provide value to everyone you can, and opportunities and doors will open for you that had never opened before. Have you never been in a private sale? Well, it's because you're not talking to enough people and you're not offering enough value to new people that you don't know anymore. Have you never done this or done that in crypto? Just try providing more value in crypto and see where it gets you. And if it doesn't work, you can come in the community and tell me I'm a jerk for leading you down the wrong path. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because I've led a lot of people down this path, and a lot of people have won with it. So, but it's really nice to see ShibaDoge is making the moves that you guys are making. You're still coming out with new stuff. It's crazy. Most projects have shriveled up and died in the corner already, and you guys are still here innovating. So, good looks, man.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And we're about to wrap this up, but I have one last question for you before we wrap this up. And I'm just genuinely curious. Like, have you ever started your own project before, or do you have plans on ever starting your own project?
It's a great question. I get this question all the time. Every time I do something like this, I get this question. The answer is no. And the reasoning is because I have positioned myself as a person that goes into things with an open mind and does not have like a bias in one way or another. And I like to maintain that. And I personally feel it's a conflict of interest for me to come out with an NFT or for me to come out with my own project, because I have a fiduciary responsibility to actually provide value to the projects that hire me, right? And so if my community members are bag holders of something that they're hoping that I'm going to go and pump or go and sell more NFTs for so that they can exit or whatever the case may be, I feel it will do irreversible damage to my brand that I'm not willing to take on. I have a long-term vision. Everyone in my community knows from the very beginning, I've set a 4-year plan up, and we're at right now month 26 of a 4-year plan, and I got a lot of stuff coming in the community. I just don't see a need for it. If I ever did an NFT, it would be a free airdrop. So that's it. It would be a free NFT to the community. But other than that, no, I never have. And I've always said I never will. I hope I don't ever go back on that. But if I do, it'll be good for good reasons.
Yeah, see, I 100% respect that, because you kind of like, you figured out where you want to be in this space, and you stay true to that route. You're right. If you have something, you are going to have a bias. You are going to have a different perspective on, should I talk about my project, or should I talk about this person? You already have a brand that works. You already have a platform where people want to come and talk to you. So it's like, you definitely don't want to have a bias. And honestly, stick to your strengths, guys. Like, that's what I always preach to people, is stick to your strength. If you're good at something, then keep doing that. Don't try to venture out into something that you don't have too much experience in, especially if you don't have a good gut feeling about it, right? So I 100% respect you for staying true to your roots, even though that you've built all of these connections and you've probably talked to everybody in the space that, people try to talk to, and you could probably leverage that to definitely do something. I respect you 10 times more for actually staying true to your roots, because that's more important in the crypto space than anything. There's a lot of fake people out here, and there's a lot of bad actors. And, when you run across the people who are actually trying to do good for the space and are doing things the right way, you got to give them their respect, man. So big shout out to you, Brian. I do 100% appreciate you coming on here today. I'm definitely going to come back on to your show when it's time for us to do our next marketing announcement, which is probably within the next couple of weeks. So probably in the next day or two, I'll send you a message and we'll schedule something just to make sure we got something in the books. And yeah, man. I definitely want to thank you again for coming on. We're gonna post all your socials and stuff, or your YouTube channel, like you asked on the YouTube description, where this Twitter Space is streamed. So we got you on that, and feel free to come by and swing by in our community at any given time.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Seriously, thanks for having me. It's been great coming in here. It's nice to be in front of your community too. And one thing I would say is earlier in the space you had mentioned AI is not at the point yet where it can be indistinguishable from humans. And actually, there's a reason that I beg to differ, and I'm willing to challenge everybody in here on my YouTube channel. Don't follow me on Twitter if you don't want to. I don't care about that. Don't even join the crypto community if you don't want to. But what I will ask of people as my call to action is to go check out my YouTube channel. It's a humble beginnings, and I feel as if the content that I'm going to be putting out is as high quality as I can feasibly put out. And one thing is, I recently did this segment with this chatbot called Human or Not, and even if you don't go check out my YouTube channel, at least Google Human or Not and go try it for yourself. And you get to chat with another person for 2 minutes, and you have to decide at the end if it was a human or an AI. And I think the results might shock you, and I challenge you to do it also, Leo, to go and give it a shot. But if you do happen to go look for my YouTube, it's Brian Shiitake, Shiitake, baby. Thank you everybody for having me on.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you all, and
Yes,
see you
sir.
in
Thank you.
the next one.
Thank you,
For sure,
man.
guys. Guys, I just pinned his YouTube channel in our Telegram, so go check it out. It's pinned in our Telegram group. Definitely check it out. I'm gonna check it out after this AMA as well too, and I'll send you a message with my honest reaction.
Humble beginnings. Much love, brother. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you going to be taking questions now, Leo? Or?
Yeah, for sure. So now we'll take questions from the community. And guys, just to remind you again, I am bringing Telegram AMAs back. So we're going to start doing that on Tuesdays, 3:30 p.m. PST. Won't be twice a week. It will be once a week. So we'll do one Telegram AMA and then one Twitter Space AMA every week. So we will be doing 2-a-week AMAs again. It's just one on Telegram and one on Twitter. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to raise your hand up. We'll bring you up, and we'll get you talking.
If you don't see any hands up, I can. I've got some questions on YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first question I've got: when are you guys bridging the token to more blockchains, like BSC?
So there isn't a definitive date on that. I think I've touched on this before, but I'll touch on it again. The only way that we'd actually do a bridge is if we can properly do the bridge, not just relaunch on another blockchain and provide liquidity and have it arbitrage. That's not a correct bridge. And as far as I know right now, there's very limited ways to do a proper bridge. And since all of our liquidity is already pretty much safe and stuck into our contract, we don't want to risk having a problem doing a bridge, right? You get what I'm saying? So if people are going to be able to arbitrage from one blockchain to another and be able to use that as a bug to drain the liquidity, we don't want to create that, and we don't want to create a risk for the project to have a flaw. So until we can figure out the correct way to do it, which our engineers are working on, it's not like a super high priority task right now, but they are working on it. And if we could figure it out, we will do it as soon as possible. But we have bigger things that we're actually working on, and we have bigger ideas that will actually grow ShibaDoge Labs to bigger extents than just go into different blockchains.
Cool. Next question is, well, I can answer this. Fire hands, when will they be dropped? Peter said estimated 2 months, but they'll try a lot sooner. Next question is,
so I'll touch on that. So Peter said 2 months, and the reason he's saying that is just so people don't FUD. But when we were on our dev call with the whole team, the other day, Peter mentioned it to one of our main developers that, hey, we, once we get a moment, we have to do all of these fire hands and the burn anniversary stuff. So that's on the table, like that's on the plate. It just, since we have a lot of things going on right now, obviously, like, we don't want to rush to do that, but it's definitely going to happen much sooner than 2 months, guys. Just want to put that out there. You just yeah, I mean, so it's on our agenda. We just talked about it this week as well, so we're working on that, guys.
Cool. And the last question I have here is staking, I mean deployment rewards. Like, when are you going to drop the sheet so that people can know how many tokens they'll be receiving daily?
So the sheet is being made and graphically put together right now by our social guy. So it'll probably be out maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. But yeah, we'll pin it into Telegram. We'll also pin it probably on our Twitter, and yeah, you guys will be able to find it there.
That's all I see on YouTube for now, Leo.
Amazing, man. My takeaway from the Twitter Spaces is definitely like the conversations that we have with our guests are amazing, and I think it really pushes like the way that we communicate with the communities, and just have our show. It makes it a new experience. It's amazing. We have some really cool guests on. Like Brian was awesome today.
Yeah,
I think we have Adam Shelton coming on next week, which is cool. And we got some other big people that are coming on in the future weeks. But my biggest takeaway was less questions, man. We've had a lot less questions. So definitely want to start the Telegram AMAs back up just to combat that. And just honestly be able to talk to the community again, because I miss you guys to a point where it's like, I used to hear everyone's voice every week, and now I don't. So it's like it's a void in my heart that needs to be filled back again. Let me bring Jalive up. He raised his hand. What's up, Jalive?
Yeah, so it's less more than a question, but more of a statement, and it's more a call. Like O'Brien just have a call. It's a call to the community. I know we like listening to this. We like the giveaways. We like the chat. We like the hangout. But one of the things I'm noticing, I think as a community, we've just gotten a little complacent, and we're not doing some of the basic things to help ourselves. Like, you pin stuff on our Twitter account and there's no reaction, there's no comment, there's no retweet. So I'm just going to ask of all of us, before we do anything, whether we're a shill or just a regular community member, just interact with the ShibaDoge main page. Just spend the 1 minute, the 2 seconds to do the retweet, to do the like, do whatever we need to do, because we need to put the work out. The devs can only do so much. We have to put the work out. If we want to grow a bag or just grow a community or do good things for this space, we got to put the work in now. I mean, a lot of people, they're kind of questioning, Pop Pepe and all the other stuff around how are they mooning, how are they doing what they're doing. They're mooning, they're doing what they're doing because the community believes. Whether we want to get into the conversation about liquidity and all that, it's not our space. So we got to learn, we got to adapt, and we got to put the work in. The fun we're having in Telegram, take it to Twitter. Do what we need to do. We're getting lazy, guys. I mean, I don't want to preach, but we're getting lazy. Let's do the basics. The dev can't like and retweet. We got to do that as a community. For example, there's 40, 60 people of us right now on the chat right now, but we still have only 22 comments on a post that was posted 24 hours ago. So I'm just saying, guys, let's do the work, right? I'm not calling people out, but let's just start doing the work. That's all I'm asking.
100%, man. I agree with you on that, and a lot of that can be fixed with the next plan that we have coming on. A lot of it has to do with being able to penetrate the newer community of people that are in. What I really realized and what I really saw over the past 2 weeks is that there is a whole different new community of people out there. Right now, what we have is the people who are core community members and who are people who really, really put in everything that they possibly can. But a lot of the success that those trending projects get, a lot of it happens from the people who are just rushing in from an influx, right? So the snowball effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the next snowball effect, and I think we have a pretty good opportunity to be able to do that. And it's one thing to be able to like get the community right now to keep interacting because, believe it or not, they do. But the thing is, it's like a lot of the community, our community is a lot different than the communities that you see on like a brand new project, right? Because we're already an established community. People have been a part of it for a year. People already know what's up. But on different communities, you get the people who are glued to the charts. You get the people who are glued to the Telegram. You get the people who are just glued to it. And so they interact. So our next move is to make a move to onboard a lot of those people that are glued to their phones, a lot of people who are glued to those charts. Even though I tell people like, hey, don't be glued to a chart, don't be glued to a project. What we're going to do is we're going to counteract all of that shit that I was saying, and we're actually going to make a environment where people are glued. Like, you're going to want to know what's going on next. You're going to want to interact. So it's a very strong idea that we have, Jalive, and the rest of the community. I mean, you guys are going to find out very shortly once the Medium article drops. You know, I'm keeping hush hush about it because even with the Medium article dropping, there's still going to be a lot of secretivity to it, because what we're doing, we want to keep it kind of like, we want to make it so that it's hype, but it's also like under the covers as well. You get what I'm saying? So it's a very new experiment in a way where we haven't really tried it before, but we're very confident that it'll succeed. And I think a lot of what you mentioned is going to be resolved with our next move.
So what I'm hearing is, I'm hoping that the community members, you know, just support it when it happens. You know, let's just keep doing our space.
Yes, sir. So looks like Deadhead raised his hand. Let's bring you up.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep. What's up, Deadhead?
Okay. Let's see. You said you can't hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just had a couple of things I wanted to just throw out there about the project and everything. And the first one, I had a couple ideas. First of all, I'll just throw these out here and then let you just pick what you want out of them. First off, with Burn, is there anything with Burn as far as like, you know, revamping Burn on like what we're gonna have as far as, you know, revamping it to a new functionality? And also with the NFTs, like the Shiba Army and the Doge Army, I don't know about anybody else, but personally, I kind of, ever since we did the breeding, it's like, I love my Shiba Army and I love my Doge Army NFTs. Those are my babies. Like, I love those guys. And I kind of feel like they have like this broken aspect to them because of the breeding. You know, it's like, I feel like they've kind of lost a little value since that happened. And I didn't know if I had something maybe planned to kind of revamp those, also give those a little bit more of a, you know, they're not broken, you know, they're still the same old NFTs they were before.
Yeah, for sure. No, so, sorry, if you had more, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is that I'll answer the NFT question first. So, yeah, I mean, we're definitely working on making the Doge and Shiba armies better NFTs than they were previously. And the way that we're going to do that is obviously, you know, the main way people interact with their NFTs is through Warzone. So we're actually going to be working to make sure that the Warzone rewards are more diverse in the future, with new rewards being added. So people aren't just going to be getting like just Burn or ShibaDoge. There will be new rewards that are added to Warzone as well. So the more things that come to the reward pool in Warzone will bring more value back to those NFTs in the future moving forward, because, you know, obviously it's, you know, more things are being added to the pool. And when those things get added, it's like, you know, they're there for probably forever, right? It's not like we were going to be taking things away from people and whatnot. So there's definitely a bright future on that as far as that end goes. And then also, like I mentioned, like, you know, we have some ideas on how we can implement like AI into the NFTs, and there's different avenues that we want to be able to explore. But no, I mean, I would say that, you know, Shiba NFTs and Doge NFTs are our legacy NFTs, and those are definitely the first stepping stones that people have taken to being a part of the community, right? As far as like the NFT world of it, and we're definitely going to treat that with the utmost love and respect, because those are our legacy NFTs. So we're going to make sure that, you know, we do everything we can to make sure that you guys can still see value in them. But yeah, I mean, it's a given, right? I mean, like, if you look at the OpenSea transaction value versus the DEX transaction value, like Uniswap transaction value, you can see right now that like NFTs are without a doubt struggling. Like NFTs are 100% struggling compared to ETH tokens. It is what it is at this point. So yeah, I mean, like when you look at floor prices and you look at this and that, it's not just because like we're doing something wrong per se. It's more or less like the whole NFT market is kind of shitty right now. But yeah, man, definitely we are working on new things to bring to the NFTs in the future, and adding more stuff to the pool is one of them. And to move on to the Burn project, yeah, Burn project is also something that we're going to be focusing on as well very, very soon. We have planned a revamp, we have planned all this, and we kind of like set it aside for a second because we honestly got overwhelmed with everything else that was going on, and we realized like, hey, we're not getting anything done if we're working on 200 things at the same time. So we decided to kind of like finish everything in a prioritized way where we can actually do it and do it right. So yeah, I mean, that's coming as well.
Okay, yeah, man, sounds great. And then I had just one more thing I wanted to throw out there, if we have time, just real quick. It was just an idea that kind of came to my head one day when I was sitting here listening to a Twitter Spaces, and maybe some kind of like, how y'all say, you're always talking about, how y'all have these, what do you call them, like the meetings y'all have, the core team when y'all have y'all's meetings and everything. Like maybe like y'all could do some kind of like weekly edit or something, like where like a fly on the wall kind of thing, where like the community can kind of feel like they're sitting in maybe like every once in a while and like get an inside scoop of what's going on inside. So,
that's a fun idea. I mean, I'll run it by everybody if they're all down to do it. I mean, sure, why not? A lot of times, it's kind of like long and boring, and it's not as exciting as you'd imagine. But yeah, I mean, I could throw it out there, and maybe we can do something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Sounds good.
For sure, man. Cool. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here.
So Leo, quickly before you wrap it up, just want to remind the community, great work that the guys have put in. The cookbook is there. On a lighter note, the cookbook is there. It's ready. For those who want a copy, I think it's in the cookbook section, but it's there. A lot to do, but volume 1 for the cookbook is ready for the community to use.
Definitely use the cookbook. I'm going to go ahead and pin it real quick in our main Telegram for anybody who's looking for it. Give me 1 second. Here, I'll pin it right now in a minute after I end this, but we'll go ahead and wrap this up here, guys. Make sure you guys join us on Tuesday as well in Telegram. I'll be back on Telegram on Tuesday, followed by the next day we have Adam Shelton on over here on Twitter Spaces, so that'll be a good one as well. I want to give a big shout out to Brian again for joining us today. It was an amazing time having you, my man. Great conversations. As always, guys, we'll go ahead and end it off the same way we always do. If you miss Doge, that sucks. If you miss Shiba, that also sucks. If you miss ShibaDoge, then unfortunately you suck.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. All right, guys. I love you all. Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.
See you, bro.
See ya, bro.
All right, guys. Love you all. Peace.
Love, peace.